What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 8 Team Builder for NCL Season 7 Zipstrika. Taking on Magic and the New York Meloettas. We've played Magic many times before, so those of you older to the channel will definitely know who Magic is. Priority options on his side. Oh, I guess I should talk about his team. His team consists of Dracovish, Suicune, Nidoqueen, Talonflame, Komala, Zipstrika, Mega Gallade, Shaman, Klefki, Eternal Floette, and Alolan Golem. He's like the only person in the entire league ever who has drafted Eternal Floette, and he just keeps doing it. It's honestly tilting. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's fine because we allow it and he goes with it. Priority options, he's got the Nidoqueen with Sucker Punch, Komala with Sucker Punch, and Mega Gallade with Shadow Sneak on top of Gale Wings, Brave Bird from Talonflame, or Acrobatics, I guess, and Klefki Prankster Shenanigans. Hazard setting, he's got the Nidoqueen with Rocks and Toxic Spikes, Klefki with Spikes, and Alolan Golem with Rocks, so not a ton of options there, but it does cover a lot of bases. Removal options, he's got the Talonflame with Defog, Komala with Rapid Spin, and Klefki with Defog. 4x weaknesses is Talonflame to Rock and Alolan Golem to Ground. In terms of what's not coming against me, probably Talonflame. I don't necessarily think Talonflame has the ability to break through my team as well as pretty much anything else, so I can't imagine why I would see Talonflame in this game. Zipstrika as well, I have double ground. It makes absolutely zero sense to bring Zipstrika to me. Well, not 0 cents. I guess I shouldn't say 0 cents because I do have triple water, but I think double ground shuts that down enough, especially Gliscor in particular, which Zipstrika just cannot touch to save its life. I don't think Zipstrika is coming against me. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Alolan Golem, he's been forcing onto teams in a more offensive role with Life Orb and whatnot. I don't have a good answer to it besides... so actually, I do have a good answer to it, I should say, in Gliscor, that it is not coming this week, and I'm hoping that just the fact that I have Gliscor means that he won't bring it, but I still think it's reasonably likely. If I had to select 6 right off the bat, I think he's going to bring Shaman because I have triple water, Mega Gallade, Dracovish, and Suicune, and then it's probably going to be 2 of Nidoqueen, Eternal Floette, and Klefki. I'm not sure which he would want to go with there. He doesn't really have a Darkrai answer, so he has to bring one of the fairies, and then probably Nidoqueen if I had to guess. His team is really, really, really weak to Darkrai, so one of those fairies has to come. If I had to guess, it's probably Klefki, even though he can't like Prankster Shenanigan Darkrai at all. It also could just very well be Scarf Eternal Floette. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Gallade is a massive problem. I don't have the best answers to it, but I have one, which also has to function as the Dracovish answer, so yay. Besides that, I don't really have a good Nidoqueen answer, so yeah, Gliscor can wall a bunch of stuff, but it cannot wall Nido. Nidos are just way too good. Let's talk about my team. You've been staring at it for a while now. First up on my side is Empoleon. I'm running Mono Scald with Defog, Stealth Rocks, and Roar. Getting up Rocks is pretty important chip against Dracovish. I've also got Roar here for Suicune. I mean, this is my Eternal Floette check if it comes, honestly. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't really know what else this Empoleon is doing. It's good against Coon as well. And it's a semi-Dracovish check. I mean, I'm not doing that much to it, but I can roar out like a sub-variant. I'm Shookaberry for Earthquake Dracovish, so that's kind of the idea, is that I don't want to have Slowking tanking all of the hits in this one, and Empoleon is going to have to tank some of them, which it's going to have to do that against these. It's also a Talonflame check, so there's that too. So Empoleon kind of covers some stuff that isn't necessarily going to come. Banded Komala, this is a Banded Komala check. But it's not the best check against a lot of other things out there. Vikavolt next. I'm running a leftover set with Mudshot, Volt Switch, Webs, and Roost. Roost is just for longevity, of course. This is a much better Nidoqueen check than Empoleon or Slowking could ever be. Vikavolt and Nidoqueen kind of check each other, but with Mudshot, I have the advantage because I can hit it super effectively, and it would have to run Flamethrower to hit me super effectively. I'm not sure Flamethrower is the best bring against my team. That's why I'm saying that. And I should be able to tank an offensive variant reasonably well, and Mudshot lowers speed. 100% chance lower speed, so eventually I'll just outspeed it and be able to Mudshot it to death, or roost up on it first. And that pretty much means that webs are going to be guaranteed for me there. I would anticipate Defog Klefki, but webs are going to be pretty key in handling Gallade plus Dracovish, so I'm going to attempt to get up webs at some point in this game. Vikavoult's bulky enough to be able to handle Floette too, so I'd be comfortable with sending it in against that. Slowking is kind of a mix just because of the natural Spadef. It could definitely tank a hit from Nidoqueen and teleport out, but it's mainly there is my Gallade check and my Dracovish check. Yeah, I didn't bring a good option for Golem, so if Golem comes, I'm kind of just gonna have to hope that I can kill it with like Cinderace. Did I even bring a move to kill it with Cinderace? I don't even know. It's gonna be scary. If Golem comes, I'm terrified. If Golem comes, I'm absolutely mortified that I didn't bring Gliscor. So we'll see how he feels about that. Gliscor is like okay, but it's not great because there's a Dracovish and a Suicune. So it's really up to him how he wants to handle Gliscor. You know, Gallade gets Ice Punch and stuff. He might be comfortable enough, and I might be throwing my entire game away by not bringing Gliscor. But I'll still be able to hit the Golem super effectively with a bunch of stuff, especially Empoleon. Shuka Empoleon might be able to handle it. It might just Wild Charge me in the face, so I don't know. We'll see about that one. But yeah, Slowking is detrimental to him. It's imperative to me that I have Slowking in this game with Rocky Helmet to deal with Dracovish. I can handle Banded Dracovish with this. I should just be able to port out on it. I can tank 2 Vicious Rins as long as rocks aren't up on my side of the field. Future Sight is there. His Dark type is non-existent, so I can just run Mono Psychic Stabs and go from there. This also means that he does his Dark Resists are only fairies, which actually benefits Darkrai immensely, because it means I don't have to run Focus Blast or anything like that. And his Steel is a fairy too, so something to consider there. We'll look at that when we look at the Darkrai set though. Future Sight is beneficial for a lot of good damage, and he might potentially forget that it's there. He's done that before, so yeah. Psyshock is there to hit Gallade. It's going to hit Gallade better than Psychic would, or Scald for that matter, and Suicune as well, which can't really touch me back, and I kind of just get to port out on it reasonably for free. There are some decent switch-ins. He doesn't have a lot of momentum, though. You're looking at like Volt Switch, Golem, U-Turn, Komala, U-Turn, Talonflame. And Volt Switch Zebstrika. But again, I don't think Zebstrika is coming against me for sure. Golem might come. Talonflame I don't think is coming. And Komala I also don't think is coming. So I think that I can probably abuse Teleport reasonably safely against things like the Dracovish. Especially if I find out if it's Banded or Scarfed, I can play around that. After porting out. So just fully physically defensive Slowking. Cinderace, I'm running a Boots set rather than Scarf. I was originally Scarf and now I'm not Scarf. Yeah, there's not really much more to say than that. I've got U-Turn as well to get some momentum for myself here. Trying to get into Gardevoir pretty much as possible. Gardevoir's got a really solid matchup in this one. Pyro Ball is there for a variety of things, but it's mainly there for Klefki and Shaman. It can also hit the Nidoqueen. Court Change is if he wants to bring screens against me, then I'm going to Court Change them and take away his screens. This could potentially set webs against myself, so I have to be really careful about what the Klefki set is before I decide if I'm going to set webs or not. And then Sucker Punch is there to make myself immune to Klefki's priority. So Sucker Punch will go before Prankster because they're both +1 priority and I'm faster than the Klefki. So I can immune myself from any Thunder Wave shenanigans from that, and then I can Pyro Ball in the face the next turn. And then I won't have to worry about being paralyzed on my Cinderace. Sucker Punch is also really solid against Dracovish and Talonflame. So those are the main things that are going to outspeed me. I am outspeeding Gallade creeping Gardevoir. So if his Gallade is creeping my Mega Gardevoir, then I will outspeed that by 1 point. And that's pretty much all I have to go on there. I would be worried about Court Changing against Gallade. So I would probably Pyro Ball it, but yeah, Cinderace is a great momentum grabber, and it's got a lot of utility in this matchup, so I like it a lot there. Gardevoir, I'm running a really bulky set. I don't actually need that much special attack investment to two-shot things. I'm two-shotting... Excuse me. I'm two-shotting... Oh my god, excuse me. I'm two-shotting max HP Nidoqueen with Psyshock all the time. I'm running Synchronize. Why am I running Synchronize instead of Trace? I don't know why I'm doing that when there's a Volt Absorb Zebstrika. Yeah, I think it was for Toxic Suicune. I think I'm going to change that to Trace. Anywho, Psyshock's still two-shotting Nidoqueen and Suicune if it's got Calm Minds up. Hyper Voice is two-shotting Suicune if it doesn't have Calm Minds up, and Hyper Voice is still OHKOing no bulk Gallade or bulky Gallade to the extent where it's creeping in Gardevoir. I am running max speed so that I can speed tie offensive Shaman and Mystical Fire it and hopefully get the Speed F drop. Well, I would guaranteed get the Speed F drop, but hopefully outspeed it. Mystical Fire is also there for the Klefki, and I could honestly Mystical Fire Suicune until it runs out of special attack boost, but Pressure is kind of annoying there too. It's for Floette, I guess, as well. I mean, Mystical Fire, it's there to hit Klefki, let's be real. That's the whole purpose. Heal Bell is there in case I do get Toxic by, like, Suicune or Paralyzed by Klefki. I have a way out of that, and I didn't really need another move. It was either going to be Teleport or Heal Bell, and I think Heal Bell offers more to my team. I might be able to live a hit from the Golem with this spread, actually. It depends on how much how invested it is, or if it's banded or Life Orb again or anything like that. Last but not least is Darkrai. I'm running Life Orb Darkrai, not Scarf, so I don't have a single Scarf to outrun anything like that. But this should be okay against a lot of stuff. I'm really relying on my defensive mons to be able to put in work, which pretty much means my entire game plan goes out the window if a Alolan Golem is in this game. I don't have a lot to work around Alolan Golem, and I may have to end up sacking Cinderace earlier than I want to be able to deal with Alolan Golem, because I think that Darkrai is a much bigger problem for him than Cinderace is. So, yeah. Incinerate is there for the Klefki. I can't be prankster shenaniganed, but I do need it in range so that I don't die to, like, Gleam or something. But I would pop any berry that would have... He likes running... I've seen him run Citrus Berry in the past, so... Yeah, that's for that. Sludge Bomb is there for the Eternal Floette. That's literally the only thing that I would ever click it against. Dark Pulse is better against every other Pokemon on this team. Unless the Gallade is pre-Mega, and then I would probably switch out. Disable is there potentially for the Suicune, as well as Klefki from getting up screens or something like that. It's really helpful against the Suicune. If it's going to click like Protect or something against me, then I can disable that and get that out of the way. Or if it's going to click Sub, I can disable Sub after I break it. I can disable Calm Mind, right? Or I can disable Mono Scald if it's Mono Scald, right? And then it's just got to sit there and watch me kill it slowly but surely. So I think Disable offers a lot of utility. I was considering Torment. I mean, Suicune doesn't really... Torment doesn't really deal with Suicune at all. I was also considering Hypnosis, but if it's Rest Suicune, then I'm dealing damage to it with Bad Dreams anyways. So I just think Disable is a really good move here. Potentially can disable like Banded Dracovish Fishes Rend and come in on it, and then disable it, and then go from there. If he thinks he's going to live the Dark Pulse, I can disable the Fishes Rend, and then I get hits off for free, because it's just going to have to sit there and struggle. I'm outspeeding Talonflame creeping Cinderace. So again, aggressive creeps. So if the Talonflame wants to creep my Cinderace, which is the next fastest thing on my team after Darkrai, then I will outspeed that. It really doesn't matter because I'm not going to outspeed Talonflame either way. But if it does want to speed creep Cinderace rather than Darkrai, for Gale Wings priority, for example, if it's Gale Wings, then it doesn't need to worry about creeping Darkrai or something. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. It just gives me some bulk. I could have also crept like Zebstrika creeping Gardevoir and gone Modest, which actually that might be a little bit smarter. Is putting it at the same speed as Cinderace, or like guaranteed outspeeding Gallade at the very least. And I might be able to go Modest with that. No, I cannot outspeed Gallade guaranteed with Modest, but I can put it at the same speed as Cinderace and go Modest, so 333. I'll just go 334, because it doesn't really matter. So, Interestingly enough, I'm changing this to now outspeed Gallade. Creeping Guard as well. So, yeah, I mean, Modest is a little bit of an extra power boost, which might help out later on in the game. I'm not super concerned about this match, but I'm also pretty worried. I don't know. I'm in the middle. It's a reasonably mid-ground matchup, and it's hard to predict what Magic is going to bring against me. But I'm just I'm not really playing for playoffs at this stage. I haven't been playing well enough to imagine myself going to playoffs this season, so I'm kind of just playing to stay out of relegation territory, which, to be fair, I'm still very much in. If currently, as I record this, relegation territory is at 3-5, and I'm 3-4, but I am the highest differential 3-4 team. This is flashbacks to last season, where I was in the middle of the pack and I just made playoffs because I had the best differential out of all the teams there. So as long as I can keep games close, then I might still be in a good spot, but that's just sort of how Zipstrike is going right now, honestly. So in terms of what I'm not bringing, Gliscor is mainly because I didn't want another Pokemon weak to Dracovish, but honestly, if I'm looking at this objectively, I could probably put Gliscor in over Empoleon and feel decent about myself. Which I might just do, honestly. Like, I'm not sure about doing it right now, but I think I'm going to DM someone and see what their thoughts are about it. And then, if that happens, I'll talk about it in the battle video. Lucario is not great here, but it's also kind of good. So I think he's going to have to prep for Lucario, but I'm not bringing it. Golurk is not so fantastic in this one. Not going to lie. Quillfish, also not so fantastic in this one. It's a decent Dracovish answer, if you will, because I can intimidate it and stuff. But Gallade can't get intimidated anymore. And yeah, I'm not as big a fan of spikes against this team as I am of rocks. So I don't think Quillfish offers me that much. And I think Nidoqueen is probably coming for sure. So it's hard to justify T-spikes when the grounded poison is going to come for sure. Regice is actually a pretty decent Suicune check, if only got Haze, right? It's a pretty decent Nidoqueen check and Shaman check too, and Eternal Floette check. So it could be a decent specialty defensive check, but Regice is... if I had another drop, I'd be able to get rid of Regice for like Glaceon or something, and I'd have a much better time. Just the specialty defensive wall thing is just, it's not great. I'd rather have a more offensive Ice type that I could potentially run as a Scarfer or something like that, so I would have definitely preferred to have Glaceon on this team than Regice. In fact, Glaceon might have scared away Dracovish, or would have at least scared it into a Scarf itself, probably. So, anyways, that's the whole team. I don't have any drops left, so I can't get Glaceon, but maybe I'll hit someone up and see if they have a drop. Actually, it's too late, because I can't trade with them and then trade back. So, unless they were willing to take on Regice... how would that work? No, because I couldn't trade them back what they wanted. So they'd have to drop something, pick up Glaceon, and then trade me Glaceon. And they would have to want Regice or then drop Regice. Anyways, it would take like 2 transactions. But we'll see if anyone's got the transactions and if they're up for that. So that's going to be for me. Again, I'm going to go talk to someone about this Gliscor, and then I'll see you guys for the match.